Please welcome Mr. Rafael Jose Deacon Singh Jr.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. You know, in my last year at university in 1989, before internet and Google, I took a summer job selling science books and encyclopedias to households. And one of those who I was trying to sell books to was the managing director of a local investment bank. And for about 45 minutes, I went to my sales pitch, and I was trying to convince him that buying encyclopedias is a smart investment. In the end, he turned me down. He didn't buy any books, but he did say one thing. He actually invited me to interview with the company. So let's step back. I'm a political science graduate. I love reading books on political theory and history. I didn't pay attention in my economics class. I had absolutely no idea what I was getting into, but all I knew was I was extremely excited. So the week after, I put on my best foot forward, I went for the interview, and I got accepted. So in June 1st of 1989, I started working full-time as a credit analyst at Multinational Bank Corporation in the morning, and when I worked on my thesis at night for one whole semester. So from being a credit analyst, I moved to become a government bond trader. I took the fast track, and for 4 years, I learned everything there was to learn about fixed income securities. How they're priced, structured, who bought and sold them, and why. I learned how interest rates move. I read all the literature that I could get about fixed income trading, including fully understanding the laws that govern the domestic securities market. And I learned all of them in great detail. And the more I learned, the more curious I became about the capital markets. So after about 4 intense years, a few months after getting promoted to vice president at the age of 24, I left the bank. In fact, I took a pay cut, and I took a lower rank and joined the Manila branch and eventually the Singapore branch of a New York-based investment bank called Bankers Trust. Bankers Trust had a small team, highly driven, well-coordinated, and smart individuals led by my longtime mentor, former Finance Secretary Lito Camacho. I took a pay cut at the onset because I felt that learning curve far outweighed any amount of compensation at that point in my career. And because we were a small team, we did everything. In the eyes of our clients, we needed to be jacks of all trades and master of all. Derivatives, convertible bonds, equity and debt capital markets, corporate finance, mergers and acquisitions, name it. And again, for about 4.5 years of learning from the region's best, I left Bankers Trust and I joined HSBC, where I spent another 8 years in the region. So the breadth of that experience, the number of hours and the intensity with which I invested in my quote-unquote apprenticeship experience, it prepared me for my next role. So in April 2007, a few months before the housing bust in the US, I moved back to the Philippines to join ICBSI as Global Treasurer for about 8 years, and the last 4 years as Global CFO. So looking back at those almost 30 years in the investment banking industry, I'd like to share with you 3 insights with fervent hope that it would get you from where you're sitting there to where I am standing here today. So, first, passion. So I define passion as one's burning desire to achieve a certain purpose or objective. Once you inject passion in what you do, it changes everything. When you're doing something that you're passionate about, any sport, hobby, even with relationships, you become highly focused. Time moves swiftly at that point. Everything is coordinated. Mind, body, emotions, you enter into what we call the element. According to Dr. Ken Robinson, who is an expert in creativity and education, and whose TED Talk entitled, "Do Schools Kill Creativity?" which has been viewed close to 53 million times, described element as being the place where what you love doing and what you're excellent at come together. Passion is what pushes you to the next level of excellence. Next one is apprenticeship. When you graduate from college and when you're done with your formal education, you will be entering the most critical stage of your career. Think of this stage as your second education, which you must enter with the most willingness to learn, the most open-mindedness to new ideas, with vigor and passion. You call that your apprenticeship stage. Robert Greene, my current hero and my favorite author, in his seminal book on mastery, he said, the goal of an apprenticeship is not money, a good position, a title or a diploma, but rather the transformation of your mind and character, which is the first transformation on your way to mastery. So during your apprenticeship stage, you have to observe, learn, and you need to internalize and understand everything. Find a mentor. You know, when you find a mentor, not only must you learn from them, but you must surpass them. In fencing, there's a Spanish saying called, I think it goes something like, El maestro acuchillaba. That means, to the master goes the knife. That means that in fencing, you're able to surpass your master once you're able to knife him with your sword. It's the same thing here. And poor is that one who goes to a mentorship program or an apprenticeship program, but who's never able to surpass his master. Third, develop critical thinking. Also go beyond the borders of finance. Experiment, fail mindfully, learn, then repeat. According to studies, it takes about 10,000 hours, or in my case, roughly about 3 to 7 years of intense focus to achieve a certain proficiency on a subject. In all the companies that I moved to, I spent roughly about 3 to 4 years learning each and every product in every detail. I remember spending 27-hour to 30-hour days. And I remember in Singapore, for example, when you're putting together a proposal for the Authority of Singapore, we spent about 28 to 30 hours writing that. And we did that actually quite often. So you have to burn both ends of the midnight candle every day for years. And I loved it. As I say before, so I say, steel is forged by running it through the crucible of fire. Be like steel, forged and hammered by experience, shaped by the intensity of your inner fire or your passion. And third is innovation. So innovation in financial technologies will help in democratizing banking by giving the unbanked access to credit and financial payments. Blockchain will challenge present payment monopolies and revolutionize the way payment and securities are clearly settled. ATMs will be developed to become better robots, which will eventually replace human beings in bank branches. It's beginning to happen now. Think about this. The marketplace for financial technology has increased the accuracy, the recording, and the accounting of financial data. Never has there been a moment in history that we've had access to such amount of significant data. But it begs two questions. A, what's going to happen to all those who used to record this data manually? And B, what do we do with all this data? And therein lies the opportunity for creativity and innovation. You know, at ICTSI, we expanded our terminals from 12 in 2007 to 31 today. Our balance sheet grew from only $380 million in 2007 to $4.5 billion today. More than 10 times. And our equity, but the equity required from our common shareholders to be able to expand this was zero. So how did we grow? Was it through debt? Partly. Was it through equity? Well, yes, but only to the extent of its previous year's retained earnings. So who funded the balance of the growth? It was the international capital market investors. By giving us hybrid equity, an instrument that walked, talked, smelled like debt, but when you account for it in your balance sheet, it comes out as equity. Innovation, creativity. It's what sets you apart as a finance professional. It's what differentiates a good CFO from an excellent CFO. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the three elements which will future-proof you and prepare you for a long-lasting career, satisfaction, and finance. Pursue your career with passion, elevate your apprenticeship, create and innovate. So I look back to that fateful day in my college senior year in May 1989 when I was offered a full-time job in the investment banking industry, knowing nothing about finance. And I told myself, impossible. Wrap to the slide. Oh yeah. So when I started, when I started in 1989, I asked myself that journey, and some of you might be thinking that way as well, that the journey from where you sit to where I stand is impossible. I say absolutely not. Be like steel, change your mindset, and change that word from impossible to say, I'm possible. Good afternoon and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joel Gunsing, the CFO. Sir, can you remain on stage po? The CFO for ICTSI Incorporated. I believe Vince is with our fellow college student, right over here, sir, along 117. Vince, take it away.
Musta na kayo dito? Buhay pa ba kayo? Yes? Yes? Okay. So, sige, state your name.
Hello sir, good afternoon po. My name is Andrew James Nunez from FU Manila. Sir, yung question ko po is, being the leader that you are, what do you think is the biggest challenge when it comes to being a leader, sir?
That's a really good question. Thanks for asking that. You know, for you to become a leader and for you to be able to lead others, the first that you must learn is how to lead yourself. And from that alone, once you've been able to develop and discipline yourself and lead it towards good and productive path, then it's much easier to lead others. So, and that is, in my opinion, the biggest challenge in leadership is to lead yourself.
Beautiful answer, Sir Joel. Thank you so much for that one. I hope marami tayong na-pick up from Mr. Joel Gunsing. Right now, we will kindly call on Sir Benny. Ma'am Dara, sir, kindly remain on stage po. Sir Benny, Ms. Dara, to award Sir Joel a token of appreciation together with Ms. Marivic. Once again, Mr. Joel Gunsing, the CFO of International Container Terminal Services Inc. or ICTSI.